What's up, Apollonians? Welcome to the Apollo Magic YouTube channel, and today we're going to learn 6 ways to do the boomerang card. Okay, so for the first card throw here, this is pretty simple. You have your first finger on top, your 3 fingers on the side, your thumb on the other side here. What you're actually going to do, this is classic mechanics grip. What you actually want to do is you want the cards a little bit further up like this. You're then going to take your thumb and you're going to squeeze on both sides of the deck. See how I squeeze like this? Then take your thumb and you're going to push down on just the top card, so it slides down just a little bit. You only need about that much space slid down because it's just enough for your pinky to get in there. Your pinky is going to come down and it's going to squeeze the card, and you're going to start curling your pinky. As you keep curling your pinky, eventually you're going to clear the card and it's going to shoot off like that. But what you want to do is one swift motion. You don't want to do this slow, because if you do it slow, the card will start to keep that shape, and then it won't kind of flex back into the normal shape, which is what makes this work. So if you do it kind of fast, you'll see it shoots out nice and even like that. So the second way to do this is almost as easy. Now this is if you have the cards in biddle grip. So you have one way to get the card to boomerang off if you have it in classic or dealer's grip. This is going to be if you're used to biddle grip. So if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, it's just the way that all magicians are supposed to hold cards, and really blackjack dealers at the same time. So you switch hands here. You notice that my middle finger is all the way over here on the side of the deck, the same with my thumb. You want to be on this half of the deck, pretty much 1 finger length. You want your fingers pretty even with the side of the deck there. Your first finger is going to do all the work. What's going to happen is your first finger is going to push down on the card, and as it curls, eventually what's going to make contact with the card is your fingernail. As soon as your fingernail does, it should slide past the card. This is just like the pinky though. You want this to be one smooth motion. So you're going to pull down, it makes contact, it slides past the card. Alright, so to do these card throws, you have a single card. The first one is the easier one. You're gonna hold above the center of the card. So you don't wanna hold right in the center, but about 1 thumb length above that. Now, you can see the direction that the card is going. You're gonna take your first finger, and what your first finger is gonna do is it's going to pull the card so it's perpendicular. At the same time, you're going to whip your hand up like this. As I do this, notice that I'm turning the card 90 degrees. So your finger turns at 90 degrees, and then your wrist turns at 90 degrees. So it's gonna do a 180 degree spin, at least the card will itself. Once you do this, as you go up, you're gonna let go with your fingers. So that'll give it that spin. Do this as a pretty short. The other way to do this is to hold the card on each corner with your middle finger and your thumb. You're gonna bow the card out this way. What's gonna happen is it's almost like you're just trying to touch your middle finger and your thumb together. You're gonna want the corner of the card a little bit more on your thumb because you want it to slip off of your middle finger like that. What that'll do is it'll shoot the card up with a spin. It almost is automatic. Notice the way you can figure out where the card is gonna go is the direction of the upper corner here. So if this is pointing straight up, notice the card will go straight up. If I point the card forward like this, it will go forward onto the bar. The next two are how to flip the card back onto the deck. So we've learned how to shoot it from the deck, how to throw it in your own hand. Now this is how to get it back onto the deck. So theoretically, you could create this whole little system where your hands never come back together. To get the card back on, there's basically 2 ways you saw me do it. There's where you cross your hands like this, and then there's when you shoot the card from here. So I'm gonna go over the simple way, the more well-known way first. So this way is where you have the card here and you're gonna hold it almost like you're holding a mechanic grip. So you can see where I'm holding it on. I almost hold it right on the divot of my fingers here. And I'm gonna put pressure using my first finger. Now when this card goes, it's gonna slip off the thumb first. It's gonna slip off like this direction because you want it to flip this way. Right? You want it to go this way as it flips from hand to hand. So there's 2 things that are gonna happen. As I push, my thumb is just gonna release, and my fingers here, instead of holding onto the card, they're actually going to extend. Let's see if I can do this once more here. They're gonna extend. You can see they extend. You're doing this little motion here. So what that'll do is if you don't move your wrist, it'll do 1 rotation like this. So if you just shoot, it'll just do 1 rotation if you're just moving your fingers. You barely have to move your hand at all. To get the double rotation, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your hand up like this. You're gonna kind of do a motion at the same time. I guess I should say this depends on how far away, how you wanna do this. So if you want them to be further away, your hands to be further away, you're gonna have the motion be a little bit towards the deck. If you just wanna do it height-wise, you're gonna go up, just kind of straight up, and the card, because of the way you're shooting it, will naturally kind of go that direction. To make it go a little further, I'm just gonna kind of bring my hand more that direction, right? And it'll go farther this way. So once you get the fingers down, you're just gonna practice just doing this, just with the fingers. You notice how my fingers are extending. You're just gonna practice that. Once you get this down, you're proficient. You can see how I move slightly, but real minimal movement of my wrist. It almost like the card jumps out of my hand when this happens. Then as you get more proficient, you can do a double rotation, just more rotations really. So the second way to shoot the card back onto the deck is to cross your hands like this. Now, so the way to do this is it's exactly like the other direction, but instead of releasing from your thumb, you're just gonna release from your fingers. So if you wanna kinda get the motion down, do what you were doing before with this one, but instead you're gonna clip it between your first finger and your thumb. Now to do the throw itself, you're just not going to grip with your thumb and first finger. You're just gonna let it go. So the motion looks like this. It's a sideways, so gravity is a little bit against me. But again, you're just going forward. You're pushing with you're building tension with your first finger, and then you're going to release from your fingers this time. The correct way it will look should be like that. You can see that this one is not really one where you can count the spins. You can as you get better at it, but you're not really looking to count the spins on this one. This is more of you're whipping it to get that airflow. You want it to spin a lot more, so that way it can hit the air and kind of go from going this direction, going back into this direction. So it'll do this interesting like question mark shape. If you start getting proficient at these, you can actually use these to do something like this. Throw it to the one hand, throw it back to the other hand, and back to the same hand. Very fun. Well, that is all there is to it. Hopefully you guys found at least one of those easy to learn. For the other ones, practice, practice, practice. Anything cool takes practice. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys found that pretty easy to learn. And you can like and subscribe down below for more vids.